A number of years before the American Revolution, curiosity as well as genuine interest often brought Maryland travelers to a little town near Baltimore. Their reason for coming was to meet the distinguished Benjamin Banneker, whose name was already becoming widely known, and to see his new creation, a large wooden clock. The clock was an example of the finest workmanship, but the most remarkable thing about it was that its maker had never seen a timepiece larger than a watch. Visitors might also enjoy scholarly discussion on many subjects. Banneker was a unique man in many ways. He was a free black who owned a fine, small tobacco farm. But his neighbors knew he could solve a problem in mathematics as capably as he could run a farm. Banneker's family background was unusual. His white grandmother, Molly Welch, had come to America from England as an indentured servant. At the end of 7 years, Molly had saved enough money to buy a few acres of hilly land with a good freshwater spring. Since she could not clear and cultivate the land without help, she bought 2 African slaves from a ship in Chesapeake Bay. When the hard work was finished, she freed both men. But the one who was called by his African name of Banneker, the son of an African king, became her husband. Banneker proved to be a capable farmer. From his knowledge of farming in Africa, he invented an irrigation system to flood the fields when rain was scarce. In time, hard work improved their land, and eventually they were producing good crops, even when nearby farms were failing. And so their land holdings grew with each successful year of farming. As a child, Benjamin often worked with his father in the fields. He also loved to spend his free time reading his grandmother's Bible. He thought it contained all the knowledge in the world. One day, a new school opened in the valley, and Ben found many other books to explore. He was most interested in mathematics. His quick mind sometimes created extra work for his teacher. School book stories and problems were often too simple. After his graduation from school, Ben worked on the farm. But with his teacher's help, he continued to study. As the years passed, people became more aware of Ben's remarkable intelligence and mathematical ability. About 10 years after Ben had built his famous clock, a family named Ellicott moved to the valley and soon became friends with the Bannekers. The Ellicotts were Pennsylvania Quakers who had come to build a flour mill. At the Banneker farm, they bought food for their workmen. Fascinated with the machinery in the mill, Ben spent hours helping to install it. The Ellicotts were amazed at his ability. In appreciation of his help and friendship, they gave him a set of books and instruments for the study of astronomy. It was the beginning of a new scientific adventure that occupied his mind and heart for the rest of his life. Soon he was exchanging letters with astronomers and mathematicians, composing and solving problems, often writing in rhyme. Eventually, to devote more time to his absorbing interest in astronomy, Ben sold the land to one of the Ellicotts in exchange for a small annual income. Relieved of his farm responsibilities, he soon formed the habit of stargazing from moonrise till dawn. As one writer put it, his favorite time for study was at night when he could look out on the planets whose story he was reading. Benjamin Banneker was deeply moved by the spirit of the Declaration of Independence. For if revolutionary leaders believe that all men are created equal, surely all Americans, black as well as white, must soon be free. In 1791, at the age of 60, Banneker gained great honor and national recognition when he was appointed to the Capitol Commission, which was to plan the city of Washington, D.C. Working with his friend, Andrew Ellicott, and the chief engineer, Pierre Charles L'Enfant, he surveyed the land for the national capital. When L'Enfant quit the job in a fit of temper, taking his blueprints with him, Ellicott and Banneker reproduced and completed his plans from memory. The same year, Banneker compiled some of his scientific data into an almanac. It offered information on weather and tides, data on the solar system, political essays and poems. Banneker's editor hailed the almanac as proof that the color of the skin is in no way connected with the strength of the mind. This is what Banneker intended to prove, that black men, given an equal chance, could do as well as other men. Few people knew that he suffered, as other men did, from the injustices and injuries inflicted on his race. It seemed to him that the promise of the Declaration of Independence had been forgotten. Even George Washington and Thomas Jefferson still owned slaves. In August of 1791, Banneker sent Jefferson a manuscript copy of his first almanac with a letter urging him to uphold his own declared principles of freedom. Ben questioned how Jefferson could justify detaining by fraud and violence so numerous a number of my brethren under growing captivity and cruel oppression. Jefferson responded that he ardently hoped for a good system which would raise the condition of black people both in body and mind. He also sent the manuscript to the Academy of Sciences in Paris, where it attracted the interest of scientists all over Europe. After his first almanac was published, Banneker's name became world famous. Though the slavery system was becoming stronger by the late 18th century, Benjamin Banneker's life had proved that the genius of black men was equal to that of any race, and someday they would achieve their rightful place in the land of the free.